see whatever here they have given, just read it. Pollination by water is quite rare in flowering plants and it is limited to about 30 genera, mostly monocotyledon. Means hydrophily type of the pollination, means with the water pollination, it is only found in least in number. Only 30 genera, only 30 genera, 30 genera means 30 genus. So 30 genus of plants and mostly in which that they have get the monocotyledon. So monocotyledons basically follow which type of pollination? Hydrophily type of pollination. Are you getting? Hydrophily means in the monocotyledon because they have already given. In the hydrophily means water pollination generally carried out by least in number and the number is the only 30 genera. The 30 genera which involves in the hydrophilic type of the pollination. Okay. And in 30 genera which is most common, that is monocotyledons. Okay. Which is most common, that is the monocotyledons where the such type of means hydrophily type of pollination generally formed. Okay. Now, as against this, you would recall that water is the regular mode of transport for the male gametes among the lower plants groups such as the algae, bryophytes, and pteridophytes. Okay. What is saying? We have studied already in previous classes. Means previous classes means in +1. In algae, bryophytes, and pteridophytes. Algae, bryophytes, and pteridophytes. Clear? Algae, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta. This belongs into the cryptogams. This overall algae, bryophytes, and pteridophytes. This belongs into the cryptogams because they are not going to formation of the seed takes place. Okay. So algae, Bryophyta, and Pteridophyta where the pollination or fertilization. In pollination generally not happening. In case of the algae, Bryophyta, and Pteridophyta, we are not using the term pollination. Here direct fertilization takes place. Okay. So in case of the algae, bryophyta, and pteridophyta, fertilization takes place through the water current. So water is the important component for the fertilization of lower plants. Okay. So water is the necessary component for the fertilization of lower plants, basically algae, bryophytes, and pteridophytes. But for the higher plants, it is no needed. No means it is needed in very less in number. 30 genera they have given. If you read into the reproduction in flowering plants, so they have given the only 30 genera which involves in the aquatic means hydrophily type of the pollination. Hydrophily type of the pollination generally found. And in 30 genera which is most common, that is monocotyledons. Okay. So monocotyledons is the most common genera where the hydrophily type of pollination found. Okay. But into lower plants like algae, bryophytes, and pteridophytes, it is the necessary component. It is the very important components by which the fertilization accomplished. Okay. By which accomplished means complete. Okay. So by which means by which hydrophily type of the pollination is accomplished. Okay. So in this way we can say for the higher plants it is not necessary, means it is a least needed, but for the lower plants it is very important component. Niveda, what are you doing? So very important. So just read. They have given you would recall means you already studied in +1. So you would recall that water is a regular mode of transport for the male gametes among the lower plants group such as algae, bryophytes, and pteridophytes. And then when the male gametes they are going to move, so they are provided with the flagella. So algae and bryophytes they have the biflagellate structure. Algae and bryophytes they have the male gametes they are provided with the two flagella, that is called the biflagellate. While pteridophyta during the locomotion there is the need of flagella, so they have the multiflagellate. So pteridophytes they have the multiflagellate gametes. Okay, multiflagellates gametes found. And I told already, whatever I'm writing, whatever I'm telling, if this I'm not given in your NCERT, just try to write. Everyone, if you are attending my class, you can take the screenshot, or otherwise you have to write. You should write with the paper and pen. If this are not given in your NCERT, they are not telling. Even though you can see here they have not describing such a property, means algae bryophytes, they have the male gametes and male gametes is the biflagellate. They have not given, but it is saying, would you recall? You would recall, clear? You would recall. So then you would recall means you would recall, clear? You have learned, but you are going to recall, clear? So algae bryophyta, male gametes, this male gametes is the biflagellate. But in case of the pteridophyta, this male gametes is the multiflagellate. Now, okay. So lower plants groups such as the algae, bryophytes, and pteridophytes, they involves in the means water is the main components for the movement of male gametes and which accomplishes the fertilization phenomenon. Okay. Now, it is believed that whatever they have given, it is believed particularly for the some bryophytes and pteridophytes that their distribution is limited because they are meant of the water. Okay. Another things they are saying, what we have studied into the lower botany, the distribution of bryophytes and pteridophytes is the narrow. Narrow means not widely distributed, not throughout the world distributed, and their distributor is the very local, that you can say endemic. You already have studied endemic, epidemic, pandemic. Do you know three terms? Epidemic, endemic, and pandemic. Anyone, can you explain what means of the epidemic, endemic, and pandemic? Anyone? Ene solunga. Rima, Devadarshini, Anusuya. Anyone, can you tell what means of the epidemic, endemic, and pandemic? Anyone? Do you know about this terminology? You have already listened now the pandemic COVID-19. Why we are saying pandemic? Anyone, can you tell, Sweta? Why we are saying pandemic COVID-19? Why we are saying pandemic?
It is spread over the world.
Yes, very good, Niveda. She said it is spread means it is found throughout the world, means on the globe, throughout the world. So that you can say pandemic. Pandemic means it is found throughout the world, means ubiquitous, throughout the world, and endemic means local population. Local population means suppose that some million people are suffering from particular disease, it is found in only the Tamil Nadu, it is not spreading in other states like Kerala, Andhra Pradesh, Kolkata, Odisha, and Maharashtra. So such states, they are not going to affected such type of the disease. Okay. So this state is not going to affected by such type of the disease. So this is called the epidemic. Epidemic means, like you can say, suppose that any culture, epidemic means you can say at the country level, if any disease or any system or any language, any culture, any property which is appears on the state, on the country level, that is called the epidemic. Epidemic country level, endemic local population state level, and pandemic means throughout the world. I think now your concept clear. Epidemic, endemic, pandemic. Is it okay? Is it clear to all of you?
Yes.
Is it okay, Vam?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now, okay. So that's why they have given the bryophytes and pteridophytes. Bryophytes and pteridophytes, their distribution is very narrow. Very narrow distribution. Very narrow distribution. Okay. Very narrow distribution. Why? Why very narrow distribution? Due to the, because water is compulsory for the fertilization. If no water, male gametes cannot move for the long distance. So due to this, the bryophytes and pteridophytes, their distribution is the endemic type. Only the local, not too much very far away. Okay. They have the narrow distribution, not present throughout the world. Okay. So due to the need of water. If the water is present, means with the help of water, they can move anywhere, but water was not there for the movement, for the performing such type of the activity. So the distribution of the bryophytes and pteridophytes is the narrow in range. Okay, you can read. It is believed that particularly for some bryophytes and pteridophytes, their distribution is limited. I told it is the narrow distribution because the need for water of transport of male gametes and fertilization. Okay, because I told already for the bryophytes, pteridophytes, and algae, there is the need of water for the fertilization. If no water, means their distribution is the very limited, because for the fertilization and transport of the male gametes, water is the necessary component. Okay, water is the necessary component. So due to this, the distribution of the bryophytes and pteridophytes is the limited. Okay, now yes, again they have given some example of water pollinated plants are Vallisneria and Hydrilla. They are saying example, that is Vallisneria and Hydrilla. Vallisneria and Hydrilla. Clear? Vallisneria and Hydrilla, these two are the plants by which hydrophily. Sometimes they have very getting, I saw most of the students got confused. If they have given the name, suppose that I wrote the name to example, water hyacinth and water lily. Water hyacinth and water lily. In which type of pollination takes place? Hydrophily, anemophily, entomophily, or B and C both. B and C both. So what will be the correct one? Anyone, can you tell which will be the correct one answer? Which will be the correct one? I'm asking question again, just look it. Water hyacinth, that you can say Iconia crescit. Okay, and Iconia crescit, that you can say terror of Bengal. So water hyacinth and water lily. In which plants, which type of pollination takes place? Hydrophily, anemophily, entomophily, B and C. Both B and C. So what will be the correct answer? Anyone, can you tell? Yes, Nivedita, Abhinaya. Naveen?
Both B and C.
B and C. Why? Naveen Kumar, you are saying B and C. Why? Because this have given in your NCERT. If you read, they have given the water hyacinth. Most of the students got confused, and they will tick basically which type. They will tick this, that is the hydrophily, but it is not correct, because suppose that this is the surface of water. This plants, their flower, just look at what is the reason behind it. This is the plant, but their flower located on the above surface of water. Their flowers only found, these flowers found on the surface of water. Clear? So that's why the pollination is the either entomophilous or anemophilous. Clear? Maybe through the wings, through the wind or through the insect. Okay, but not through the water. I saw most of the students, they got confused, and they ticked hydrophily. So don't get confused. This is the pet question, because most of the time I have to see students, they got confused because they know water hyacinth. Water means hydrophily. Water they have given means hydrophily, but this is not correct one. We will discuss about this. So water hyacinth and water lily, where the pollination takes place with the animals, means with the insects or with the wind, not with the water. Correct? Is it okay? Is it fine? Shreya?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now, again, okay, listen. Mhm. Uh, okay, look at here. So some example of the water pollinated plants like Vallisneria and Hydrilla, which grow in fresh water, and several marine sea grasses such as Zostera. Okay, so Zostera, this is the sea grasses, and plants have Vallisneria, Vallisneria and Hydrilla. Vallisneria and Hydrilla, where hydrophilly type of the pollination. Okay, means the pollination bring out by the or carried out by the water current. Okay, so such type of the pollination carried out by the water current. Now you can see. So not all aquatic plants use water for the pollination. In majority of aquatic plants, such as water hyacinth and water lily, now they have given, which I told to you, they have given here. Look at, they have given in majority of aquatic plants, such as water hyacinth and water lily. I told to you, the flowers emerge above the level of water. I told why they have such type of the pollination, because the flowers emerge above the water and are pollinated by the insects or wind. This is the I have given. It is basically pollinated by the insects or wind. Why? Because the flower is emerge out above the surface of water. So that's why means insects and air they can come. Okay. So in this way, water hyacinth and water lily where the such type of the pollination generally found. Okay, in most of the land plants. Another one, in Vallisneria, the female flower reach the surface of water by the long stalk, and male flowers, all pollen grains, are released on the surface of water. Okay, suppose that in Vallisneria, I'm drawing the structure. This is the female flower. Okay, and here also they have the wait Panduranga. Here male flower. Okay, this is the male flower. Both present on the above the surface of water. Suppose that this is the water. Here water. This is the water current. Both are present above the surface of water. This is the water current. Now let's. Okay, this I've given. Read again. What is saying? The in Vallisneria, the female flower reach at the surface of water. Now this also came the surface of water by the long stalk. They have the big stalk. Okay, they have the long stalk. Okay, another one, the male flower or pollen grains also released on the surface of water. This pollen grains they release. Suppose that this is the pollen grains. They release the pollen grains. They release the pollen grains. Okay, so they release the pollen grains surface of water. They are carried out by the passively and water currents. Okay, they are carried out by the passively with the water currents. What means of the passively water currents? That you can say plankton, planktons. Just you have to know very important thing: plankton, nekton, benthic, pelagic. This is the terminology. Pelagic, benthic, pelagic is not looking fine. So wait, I will erase it. Benthic, another one pelagic, and lentic and lotic. Clear? So this is terminology which is used in the ecology and ecosystem chapter, but we are discussing here because they have given, if you read this sentence, they are carried out by passively. They are carried passively by the water currents. They have given the passively by water currents. Passively means we will see. We will see here. Listen. Just wait. We will see here. Here they have given the plankton. Plankton means the plants which is found on the plankton means either phytoplanktons or zooplankton. Phytoplankton means plant, zooplankton means animal. So either phytoplankton or zooplankton, which is found on the surface of water, and they float along with the water current. That means you can use the term. This term you can use for this plankton. they are carried out or they are carried passively by water current. Passively means they are not using its own energy. They are moving with the water current, means along with the water current. Clear? Plankton means the animals which is found on the surface of water, they moves along with the water current. So such animals are plants. Anyone is there? If the animals, that is the zooplankton. If the plant is there, phytoplankton. So this is called the plankton. Plankton means they moves along with the water currents, no expense of energy. Another is the nekton. What is the nekton? Nekton means they will move, but here they will use your energy, ATP. They are going to utilize the ATP. Clear? They will use the ATP for the movement. Okay, and this moves against the water current. Against water current, very important. Nekton means against water current. Against water current means suppose that water is flowing in this direction, the nekton will move into the opposite direction. Water moving in this direction, nekton moving into the opposite direction. So in this way, there is the need of ATP takes place. So due to this nekton, there is the need of ATP. So phytonekton or zoonekton. Nekton means they will expense their energy for the movement against the water current. So this is the plankton and nekton. Another is the benthic. Benthic means the animals are plants. The animals are plants which is found into the bottom of the sea. Bottom of sea. Those which is found on the bottom of sea. This is called the benthic. Benthic means which is found on the bottom of sea. That is called the benthic. Another is the pelagic. Pelagic means this throughout the distribution. The distribution throughout the surface. Either maybe water surface or maybe submerged or maybe bottom dwelling. So for pelagic, no criteria. Evenly means you can say they have the distributed anywhere in the sea, anywhere in the water current. That is called the pelagic. Lentic and lotic. Lotic means it's only found into the running water. Running water. Running water means suppose that river. Lotic means those plants or animals. If we are saying lotic, lotic means this is found into the running water like river, sea, and some big canal, big canal water, and some lake, lagoon. Okay, so where they have the running water, definitely lotic type of only found. Lentic, lentic means it is found into the lentic found into the stagnant water. Stagnant water means water will not move. Water will be the stagnant means it will be the present. They will not shake. That you can say ditches, pond, and small swimming pool. Swimming pool, pond, ditches, where they have the stagnant water, and there is the lentic type of animals only found. Okay, so this is the terminology which is used into the ecology. Clear? Which is only used into the ecology. Why I told to you here? Because here they gave the term. They are carried passively by water current. Passively means these are the plankton. These are the plankton means Hydrilla and Vallisneria. Hydrilla and Vallisneria both are the phytoplankton. Is it okay?